Hello and welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. Today on the show, Bruce decides to power through his recent painful trip to the dentist to bring you some advice around financial management and when to get advice and help that you might need. Having a look at your finances and being able to identify the issues can be really difficult, especially if you don't understand your profit and loss statement. So knowing where the pinnacle is where you need to receive help can be hard to identify if you don't really know what you're looking at or where the problem lies. Today on the show, Bruce goes over some of the intricate details of a profit or loss statement, as well as what you're looking for and how to feel more comfortable reaching out for help. If you have any questions about today's episode, be sure to jump on over to the Joinery Business Hub on Facebook. Now, without further ado, let's jump into today's episode.
Hey, welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. I am broadcasting live from our barn today as normal. What isn't normal is I've just been to the dentist, so my mouth is half frozen. I thought I'd tough it out and do the podcast anyway. We've got a topic that's coming up, it's been coming up for years and years and years on end around financial understanding of a business. I talk with a lot of cabinet shop joinery business owners. I just ask a really simple question. What do your numbers look like? How healthy is your business based on your numbers? And if you think about your own personal care, your own personal health, when you go to the doctor, one of the first things the doctor might do is do a blood test, right? So they draw some blood and that gets sent off to the technician, and the technician sends the doctor back a report, and on that report there are numbers. How high is your cholesterol? What's your calcium level? All those sorts of things that talk about the health of your body. And it's really easy to understand because it's either going to be high or it's going to be low. And so sitting down with your doctor, and I get it, sometimes the doctor speaks kind of weird language, but at the end of the day, there's going to be something to do about it, right? If your vitamin C is low, you need to take more vitamin C. So there needs to be a result from looking at the health of your body, right? And so your business really needs to be exactly the same thing. You need to know what the numbers in your business are telling you so that you can take action swiftly. If you let it go any length of time, two things can happen. You're not going to celebrate when you could have celebrated because maybe the numbers are showing you good things, or maybe the numbers are indicating that something in your business needs to be fixed right now, and that's going to prolong the problem, basically. So why does this happen? We'll just have a brief discussion around why this happens. So many times, a cabinet maker, a tradesman, a tradesperson who has grown up talking about tools and putting cabinets together, wonderful people, generally speaking, I'm one of them, but we don't understand in many cases a lot of the technical stuff. And for a lot of people, talking accountant talk just kind of scares us. And it seems like a completely different language from another planet altogether. I often hear, I went to my accountant and I really didn't understand what he said, but what he ended up telling me was just put your price up, you'll make more money. And when we talked about gross profit and net profit and all that sort of stuff, I really don't understand any of that. So that's a very, very, very common problem in the industry. So, the topic of this podcast is when should you start getting your financial controls in order, and how do you do that? Well, today is the day to start, basically. And how do you do it is looking at your profit and loss statement as a really, really simple document. The document itself really is just showing money either coming into your business in the way of the actual cash that came into your business. That's called a cash report, pretty straightforward. Or we could run your profit and loss in what's called an accrual report. In other words, the money that should have come into your business. Two types of reports. So what should have happened and what did happen. We often look at what should have happened because then we can say, well, if everything went the way it should have, if we did collect all the money that we should have collected and we paid all the suppliers we should have paid, what would be the end result? It's either going to be profit or it's going to be not profit. That's fairly straightforward to understand. So when getting help, the second thing that I find, so the first thing is really understanding a P&L and not making it seem really overwhelming because it's not really that overwhelming. Like I say, it's just money in and money out. And just for the, I guess for the specifics, gross profit is the money after your cash comes in and you take out all the stuff that it costs you to make your product. So that's your gross profit. Then after that, the cost of your business, like the heat, the rent, the light, the overheads, all those sorts of things come out. And then you've got what's left over in the net. So net profit. So net profit is what's left over. That's your business profit. So understanding those numbers is really important. And if you don't understand them now, if you're actually putting off, because maybe they scare you a little bit, maybe you don't quite understand them, it's really only hurting you. It's not hurting your accountant. It's not hurting your bookkeeper. It's hurting you as a business. So today is the day that you should put up your hand and say, I need to figure out how to understand my numbers. Just like, you need to understand the health of your body and what's going on in your blood. That's a really important thing. The second thing I think that's really important is to understand the difference between what your expectations are between what you should expect from your accountant and what you should expect from your bookkeeper. Bookkeepers and accountants are two very, very different people. But too many times I talk to a business owner and they're saying, well, I'm expecting my accountant to tell me what's going on in my business. And I have to tell you, that's not really the job of the accountant. That's your job to figure that one out. Your accountant's job is primarily there for tax planning. So the bookkeeper or somebody keeping the numbers in your business in some sort of an accounting package might be you, or it might be a bookkeeper that you've hired. It might be your partner, but somebody should be keeping the numbers up to date. That is what a bookkeeper does. The accountant takes the numbers and gives you advice based on what those numbers say. And they will not take responsibility for those numbers being accurate or inaccurate because that's not their job. But sometimes there is a very big, huge misunderstanding between what you expect your accountant to be doing and what they actually are there to do. So your accountant, if you have a good accountant, they're going to be really dedicated to helping you with tax planning. Typically meet 2 to 4 times a year to talk about tax planning. They might also help you talk about putting money aside for tax, BAS payments, superannuation payments, payroll payments, those sorts of things. They might be able to help you set up adjustments to make those payments. But an accountant is there primarily for tax planning, a high level, keep you on track tax planning. Now, I know that there are some accountants out there that stretch into the bookkeeping side of things, but generally speaking, an accountant is for higher level tax planning. A bookkeeper is required in a business. Somebody needs to be recording the numbers somewhere, and that's a bookkeeper. And the expectation of the bookkeeper is to keep the financial inputs, the things that are happening in the business financially, entered and up to date and accurate in your accounting package, so that we can run a health report at the end of every month. We want to be able to say, okay, well, there's your bank statement, and here's the things that went through your bank account, and we're going to reconcile them in your accounting package. And in today's world, this is getting easier and easier and easier to do because we have your accounting package. Most accounting packages now will connect with your bank statement, and they will say, okay, here's what went through your bank, and here's what we have a record of in your accounting package, and you can just reconcile them that way. We also have some wonderful technology like with Xero as an accounting package, for example, linked to a program called HubDoc, whereby if you get an invoice sent to you from a supplier, you can actually email that to HubDoc, and that will automatically upload it into your accounting package. So we're very much going into a paperless reality that we can run a business without having to have all of these receipts, but you can also pick up your phone and open the HubDoc, sorry, my frozen lip is doing its best. You can open the HubDoc app on your phone and take a picture of the receipt and then upload it to HubDoc. So the physical receipts that you have from, maybe you've gone to Bunnings or maybe you've gone to the hardware store or something like that and bought something and you've got this receipt that needs to be kept. Taking a picture of it in your HubDoc app can then upload it into your accounting package. So we can greatly reduce the burden of needing to keep all this paperwork. There does need to be a habit built here though, because if you don't build these habits, you just simply won't have the benefit of knowing what's going on in your business. So this short little podcast really is just designed to encourage you as a cabinet joinery business owner to step up to that next level and clearly understand the difference between an accountant and a bookkeeper and make sure that you do have somebody doing your books. Might be you, it might be somebody else, or you might actually hire a bookkeeper. They're very good at what they do and they're very inexpensive. A lot of bookkeeping can be done virtually right now, so you don't have to, have somebody that comes into your office regularly. Therefore, they can be, relatively inexpensive and have regular yearly catch-ups with your accountant. So make sure that those expectations are high. And the second thing I've talked about here is make sure that you really do understand what your profit and loss statements are at the end of every single month. And understand the difference between what an accrual report in your P&L looks like. And the accrual report is essentially what should have happened. The money that you should have collected and the money that you should have paid, and what does that look like? And you might also be interested in a cash report that shows what actual cash came into the business. But those two reports are really important because that's going to give you an indication as to what is the health of your business on a month-by-month basis. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully you can take that away and do something with it. We'd love to hear back from you. So if you have any questions or comments, a couple of ways you can interact with us. Join us in our Facebook group, the Joinery Business Hub. Put a comment. This might be appearing on social media somewhere. Put a comment in the box. If this is on YouTube, we'd love to hear from you. And if you are watching this on YouTube, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button and join our world. All right, Bruce from the Joinery Coach and the Joinery Business Podcast. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon. Cheers.